Bem-vindos ao nosso espaço, um mergulho profundo nos assuntos mais interessantes de esportes, ciências e temas gerais do momento. Aqui você vai encontrar conteúdo de qualidade, com análises empolgantes e descobertas fascinantes que vão expandir seus horizontes. Nossa missão é trazer informação relevante de forma dinâmica e descontraída. Queremos que você faça parte dessa jornada incrível de conhecimento e diversão. Se gostar do nosso conteúdo, não esqueça de deixar seu like e se inscrever no canal para não perder nenhuma novidade. Ative o sininho também. Aproveite!
If you love science, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have you ever stopped to consider what you really are, geometrically speaking? In the world of topology, the branch of mathematics that studies the properties of space that are preserved under continuous deformations, humans are famously classified as a torus. Basically, we are complex, walking donuts. We have a single hole that runs from the mouth to the anus, making us a genus 1 surface. However, as we dive deeper into the microscopic architecture and the macro-scale folding of the human intestines, this simple donut model begins to break down. Some radical biophysicists and mathematicians are starting to ask a mind-bending question. Could the human gut actually be a non-orientable surface, similar to a Möbius strip or a Klein bottle? To understand why this is even a possibility, we first need to look at the sheer scale of the problem the body has to solve. The human small intestine is roughly 7 meters long, but its internal surface area is magnified thousands of times by structures called villi and microvilli. If you were to iron out every single fold and wrinkle, you would have a surface area roughly the size of a studio apartment. Packing this massive surface into the tiny cavity of the human abdomen requires a level of geometric complexity that defies traditional three-dimensional intuition. This is where topology comes in. In a standard orientable surface, like a sphere or a regular tube, you can always distinguish between the inside and the outside. But in a non-orientable surface, that distinction vanishes. Think about the Möbius strip. If you take a strip of paper, give it a half twist, and tape the ends together, you create a surface with only one side. If an ant were to walk along its length, it would eventually cover both the front and the back, without ever crossing an edge. In the human gut, the relationship between the mucosal lining, the part that touches food, and the serosal surface, the part facing the rest of your organs, is defined by a series of incredibly tight folds and twists. During embryonic development, the gut undergoes a process called rotation. It doesn't just grow longer, it performs a precise 270-degree counterclockwise turn around the superior mesenteric artery. This twisting is what allows it to fit, but it also introduces a topological stress that makes the surface behave in ways that traditional cylinders cannot. The argument for the gut having non-orientable characteristics comes from the way we model its manifold. A manifold is a mathematical space that looks like ordinary Euclidean space on a small scale but has a much more complex global structure. When we look at the mesentery, the fan-like organ that attaches our intestines to the abdominal wall, we see a continuous sheet of tissue that bifurcates and folds back on itself in a recursive pattern. If we treat the gut and the mesentery as a single integrated system, the inside of the intestinal tube and the outside of the body cavity are linked through a series of geometric transformations that mimic the properties of a Klein bottle. In a Klein bottle, the inside is the outside. Why would evolution design such a confusing shape? The answer likely lies in efficiency. Non-orientable surfaces provide a way to maximize surface area and connectivity while minimizing the volume required. By utilizing non-Euclidean geometry, the body can create a high-pressure gradient that facilitates the movement of nutrients without requiring massive muscular force. Furthermore, the chiral nature of our biological molecules, the fact that proteins and sugars have a specific handedness, might be influenced by the topological twist of the gut. If the gut were a simple tube, the flow of these molecules would be uniform. But in a twisted, potentially non-orientable manifold, the flow becomes chaotic in a way that actually increases the probability of nutrient absorption. Recent breakthroughs in mathematical biology have used computer simulations to map the gut's surface as a non-orientable immersion. This doesn't mean you have an actual hole in your fourth dimension, but rather that the mathematical description of the gut's energy states and fluid dynamics is more accurate when we use the use language of non-orientability. Understanding this could revolutionize how we treat digestive disorders. Instead of looking at a blockage as a simple plumbing issue, doctors might one day use topological mapping to identify geometric bottlenecks, where the surface tension of the gut's lining has reached a mathematical singularity. We are moving toward a future where the surgeon's scalpel is guided by the abstract beauty of topology. It is humbling to realize that the most intimate part of our biology, the system that sustains our life, might be a mathematical impossibility hidden in plain sight. We are not just donuts. We are biological puzzles folded through dimensions we are only beginning to map. The next time you feel a grumble in your stomach, remember that it might be the sound of physics trying to navigate a surface that technically shouldn't exist in 3 dimensions. For more incredible facts like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.